and I've gone to a Unitarian Universalist church all my life. Church has been, and still is, a large part of my upbringing, and I hope it will remain a part of my adult life. I've spent every single year of my life since kindergarten in some sort of religious education program. Both my parents have been involved in the church for most of my life. My mom spent some of her time really involved in the RE program, especially when I was younger, and my dad went to seminary to become a minister, so Unitarian Universalism took an even bigger role in my life. That's why I wanted to lead worship today. Worship is something so much a part of my life. I really wanted to experience executing it firsthand, and I do have a message to share. When I was 7, we moved from a small town in New Hampshire here to Bangor, which really seemed like the big city compared to our little town of 850. I had never moved before, and really had no desire to do so. But one thing made it a little easier: the stability of church. Even though it was a little different, going to RE every Sunday was something I could look forward to there, and something I still looked forward to here. I think I liked RE classes so much because they were a place where I felt my opinions were valued, and where I was respected by adults, and I learned things that I cared about. So it's something I've always really enjoyed, and I think liking RE so much made it easier for me to really benefit from the classes and all that church had to offer me. Back in my church in New Hampshire, I learned what we call the rainbow principles. Red, respect all beings. Orange, offer fair and kind treatment to all. Yellow, yearn to learn. Green, grow by exploring. Blue, believe in our ideals and act on them. Indigo, insist on freedom, justice, and peace. And violet, value our connection with nature. And I always really liked these. And as I grew up, I realized that that's what being a Unitarian Universalist meant for me. And if someone asked me what a UU was, that's basically what I would tell them. And as I grew up, even more, I thought about what else I believe. I've gone through some of my individual search for truth and meaning. And what I've discovered, basically for myself, is God. A God that loves everyone and is in everything. No shape and no gender, more of a force or a feeling. And it was pretty easy for me to realize this for myself. I had heard some of what other people believed and came to this conclusion on my own. Now I'm going to tell you a story about Sam. Sam is 5 years old and really excited for his first day of kindergarten. He gets up bright and early, picks out his clothes, packs his lunch. His dad takes him to the bus, and he couldn't be happier. He walks into class with his backpack filled with paper and pencils and crayons, and he's prepared and ready to learn. The teacher shakes his hand and says, "Nice to meet you, Sam. I'm Mrs. Smith. I'll be back in a few hours. Have fun." Now Sam is left to play with all the other kids for the rest of the day. I think we can all see what would be wrong in this situation. These kids are being left alone with no supervision and no support. All the tools they need are in the classroom, but there's no one there to teach them how to use them. I don't think they're going to learn very much. In school, when we're young, we need a certain level of nurturing and guidance. In kindergarten and first grade and second grade, all the way up to high school. Some of us do all right on our own after a while, but that's not usually the majority. If you left a bunch of middle schoolers in a room, for example, and told them, "Write me a paper," most of them would be completely lost. Some of them might take initiative and grab a book and write you a paper, but that can't be expected of everyone. So I feel that to a certain extent, this is how we treat the youth in our church community. Kids and youth aren't given the proper support and direction that they might need. We're so focused on respecting everyone's inherent worth and dignity and accepting everyone in their personal search for truth and meaning that we sometimes don't realize a lot of people, younger people in particular, don't necessarily possess the capability to pursue their search for truth and meaning without support. I think that I've been one of the lucky ones. I've been exposed to many ways of thinking about religion and thinking about God. A huge influence in my beliefs, for example, was my favorite book as a kid, the one we just read for Story for All Ages, Everything I See is Particle, which talks about how everything is one. Everything is made up of the same stuff, the energy I call God. And this issue has been addressed in the Coming of Age program. It's a great way for youth to be helped in their search for truth and meaning. When we had that program here, but it was my experience that most of the kids didn't get a whole lot out of it. Their primary reason for going was to be able to go to Ferry Beach and sleep in on Sunday mornings. So maybe they didn't get out of it all that they could have. Maybe if they had been a little more prepared to think about the answers to these big questions about what